Hello and welcome back. You're watching World News and I'm your host, Klaudia Czerwińska. Donald Trump said Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky wants to sit down with Russia at the negotiating table. Last evening, while signing executive orders, the new U.S. president said he doesn't know whether Vladimir Putin has similar intentions.
Zelensky wants to make a deal. I don't know if Putin does. He might not. I don't know. He should make a deal. I think he's destroying Russia by not making a deal. I think Russia's going to be in big trouble.
The new U.S. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has previously warned that both sides in the conflict will have to make concessions to achieve lasting peace. Trump also told reporters in the White House that Russia should never have started the conflict. Donald Trump has begun his second term as U.S. president by signing a draft of executive orders on major policy issues. These include withdrawing the United States from the Paris Climate Agreement and World Health Organization pardoning nearly all of the 1,500 people convicted for the January 6th riots and declaring a state of emergency on the country's southern border.
What is this one?
Withdrawing from the World Health Organization, sir?
Ooh, that's a big one. So we paid $500 million to World Health when I was here, and I terminated it. China, with 1.4 billion people, we have 350 to pay. We have, nobody knows what we have because so many people came in illegally, but let's say we have 325. They had 1.4 billion. They were paying 39 million, we were paying 500 million. It seemed a little unfair to me. So that wasn't the reason, but I dropped out. They offered me to come back for 39 million. In theory, it should be less than that, but, you know. And when Biden came back, they came back for 500 million. He knew that you could have come back for 39 million. They wanted us back so badly, so we'll see what happens. So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
Yes.
Full pardon.
Full pardon or commutations?
Full pardon. We have about 6 commutations in there where we're doing further research.
Trump has temporarily suspended all U.S. foreign assistance programs while they are reviewed and reversed several orders issued by Joe Biden on immigration. In total, the new president signed more than 20 executive orders. The directives also covered key campaign areas such as allowing oil drilling in the Arctic, labeling drug cartels as terrorist organizations, and returning asylum seekers to Mexico.
We're thinking in terms of 25% on Mexico and Canada because they're allowing vast numbers of people. Canada's a very bad abuser also. Vast numbers of people to come in and fentanyl to come in. You know, European Union charges us, they have a VAT tax of 20%, but it's really much higher than that. And that's the equivalent, almost the equivalent of a tariff. And they're tough. They're very tough. They don't take our cars. They don't take our farm product. They don't take almost anything. And yet we take their cars, and we take their farm product. We take a lot from them. So, you know, we have like a $300 billion deficit with the European Union. So we'll straighten that out with either tariffs or they have to buy our oil.
Trump has also signed off an order that seeks to withhold U.S. citizenship from the children of undocumented immigrants born in the United States. Among other policy initiatives was a temporary reprieve for TikTok, which can operate for 75 days. He said on Sunday he had changed his mind about the social media app after it helped him win over young voters.
And TikTok is largely young people. I guess I have a warm spot for TikTok that I didn't have originally. Essentially with TikTok, I have the right to either sell it or close it. And we'll make that determination. And we may have to get an approval from China, too. I'm not sure. But I'm sure they'll approve it. And if they don't approve it, it would be somewhat of a hostile act, I think.
Daniela Schwarzer, a board member with the Bertelsmann Stiftung, said in an interview with TVP World that U.S. President Donald Trump might continue to be coherent on his electoral promises in the field of defense. She also argued that NATO members might take more on the example of Poland due to their changes in the perception.
Another issue is, of course, defense, and that's where Donald Trump will put pressure on Germany. We have now reached 2% of defense spending to GDP. He has already said he wants 5%. I don't think we'll go there, but we will have to increase our defense spending, not because of Donald Trump, but because the European allies within NATO need to do more for European defense. Poland is showing the example. Defense spending, important things have happened in our domestic debate because for decades, in the German society, there was no threat perception because people understood, in particular after the wall came down after 1989, that we were living in peaceful times with the enlargement of the European Union, our neighbor Poland coming into the EU, and security risks seemed very far away. And this was distinctly different to the perception in the Baltic states and Poland and other Central and Eastern European countries, in particular after Russia annexed Crimea in 2014.
Right.
But now this is slowly changing. Our government has said many things that have conveyed that message that we have to worry about our security, not only in Germany, but on a continental scale.
Indeed.
So people are getting used to the understanding that more must be spent on defense.
According to Ukraine's general staff, Ukrainian forces struck an oil depot in Russia's Voronezh Oblast, the Smolensk Aviation Plant, and a Russian command post in Donetsk Oblast last night. The Lyskinskaya oil depot was targeted again after being hit by a Ukrainian drone attack on January 16th. This time, Ukrainian drones hit fuel and lubricant tanks, starting a fire at the facility. The other attack, carried out jointly by Kyiv's unmanned system forces and the Special Operations Forces, targeted the infrastructure of the Smolensk Aviation Plant, with explosions reported on the grounds of the facility. The plant is involved in manufacturing and modernizing military aircrafts. The Ukrainian military also reported a successful hit against a command post of Russia's 29th Combined Arms Army in the Russian-occupied Donetsk region. Finance ministers from across the bloc have met in Brussels today to figure out a way forward for some of the biggest issues impacting the EU's economic policy. According to Poland's finance minister, Andrzej Domański, this includes tackling soaring energy prices and finding consensus amid a potentially turbulent Donald Trump U.S. presidency. EU correspondent Angela Skujins reports.
Finance ministers from across the EU have convened in Brussels. It's the second day of mammoth talks aimed at looking at the biggest issues facing the continent's economic policy. This includes microeconomic solutions in Ukraine as Russia continues that invasion there. Also tackling skyrocketing energy prices that are affecting every one of the member states, as well as a bigger existential issue. This is how the EU should react to an incoming presidency by the Republican leader, Donald Trump, who has already signalled that he wants to pull out of those Paris climate agreements and drill, baby, drill. Questions are abound here in Brussels as to how this could impact energy prices. But Poland's finance minister, Andrzej Domański, told reporters this morning that the EU economic leaders want to find consensus and strength to address these issues. Here is what he had to say.
First of all, we all do agree that Europe must remain united in our approach towards the new US administration and towards the economic situation. Secondly, it's, in our opinion, the best answer for any possible tension is to make European economy stronger. Make European economy stronger and bring back competitiveness to Europe. And how can we do it? Of course, once again, by simplification European law and by bringing down prices of energy.
Leaders are currently hammering out those policies together. I'm here from the press room. We're expecting a press conference at 2 p.m. today where we will hear some of those directives and the challenges that remain. But we already know that there is appetite from member states to slash some of that regulatory red tape to make business easier here and to make the EU more competitive. This will, of course, make the continent stronger when it faces that incoming presidency of US leader Donald Trump. My name is Angela Scoogens, reporting from Brussels for TVP World.
In an interview with TVP World, German MEP Andreas Schwab spoke about the uncertainties surrounding a new Trump administration and how his provocations should be approached.
There is uncertainty all over because we don't really know who will be exactly the decision maker in the next Trump government. We don't know what will be the exact mood of the president in relation to defense, in relation to Greenland, to Panama. We know that it's provocations, and we believe that provocations or, let's say, jokes in international cooperation are not the right way to move forward.
While the eyes and ears of the world were on the inaugural speech of U.S. President Donald Trump, Ukrainians watched with their fingers crossed, hoping for any sign of support for their country. In Switzerland, Day 2 of the World Economic Forum is underway. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is due to address political leaders and business figures gathered in the mountain resort of Davos. Other leaders speaking today include President of the European Commission Ursula von der Leyen, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, and the President of South Africa Cyril Ramaphosa. Polish President Andrzej Duda is also in attendance. The delegates are due to discuss how to tap the potential of artificial intelligence and the use of energy and materials. And with that, we end our service, but please do stay tuned here on TVP World. We're back in just a moment with more news and features.